administration, which is that the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy and our groupings of alliances and partnerships are not about being against anyone or anything. They're about what we're for. And that's very clear in our Indo-Pacific strategy. We make clear that we stand together for a free and open Indo-Pacific that is prosperous, resilient, and secure. And we welcome into that approach all comers who share in that vision. The U.S., Japan, Philippines trilateral that you will see on Thursday is a perfect representation of three maritime democracies who are aligned in that vision, and we believe that the world will see that summit as such. What I can say in response to your question is that the United States and President Biden in particular have been consistent and clear for the entirety of this administration that the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty applies and is held on a bipartisan basis and has not changed. The president last articulated it publicly from the Rose Garden when Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was here in October on a state visit. And what I imagine you will hear over the course of the next few days is language that is identical to what you have heard in the past. What the ultimate meaning here is, I think, is crystal clear to any observers, and that is the fact that the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty applies to the Philippines in the South China Sea, again, to vessels underway, including Coast Guard vessels. We stand strongly by our alliance commitments to the Philippines, and that is one of the things we will be talking to President Marcos about when he is in town. Of course, this trilateral meeting comes at a very important time as the Philippines has found themselves under increasing pressure from the PRC in the South China Sea. This should, of course, be taken as a sign that not only President Biden, but Prime Minister Kishida wish to show their support and resolve for President Marcos and his handling of this incredibly difficult issue. I think what you will see is a strong showing of support and solidarity amongst our three leaders for a common vision of a South China Sea that is governed by international law. Thank you. I'll be happy to try to take those questions as one. I think we have many indications of really strong cooperation amongst our three countries in the past. As you know, while our Japanese friends have been deeply invested across a range of sectors and areas in their support for Filipino friends for a very long time. So this is really a natural fit for our partnership. One recent example that I'll highlight that folks in the room may be tracking is that just a couple of days ago, the United States, the Philippines, Japan, and Australia conducted their first joint sail in the South China Sea, which was intended to signal our common support for international law in that critical body of water. And I think over the course of the last many years, our ability to better work together in and around the Philippines and with the Philippines has been growing, but we will take that to new heights with our announcements on Thursday. To your important question about how those deliverables will show that we are delivering for the Filipino people, what I can say is there will be some particularly important announcements related to infrastructure in particular, whereby the United States and Japan will agree to cooperate on their investments in the Philippines. And we do believe that together and working closely with the government of the Philippines, we will be able to deliver for the Filipino people by helping to work together on high quality, high standards infrastructure that makes a difference in the lives of everyday people to come. On the question of the U.S.-Philippines trilateral, we are absolutely hopeful about being able to institutionalize this cooperation. As I mentioned, this trilateral track really began at the National Security Advisors level about 9 months ago. But since that meeting, where our national security advisors crafted a joint program of work for us, there have been several additional meetings at other levels and in other formats, to include our foreign ministers meeting trilaterally, Vice President Harris meeting with Prime Minister Kishida and President Marcos, and most recently, Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell meeting with his Philippines and Japanese counterparts at the vice ministerial level. So we believe strongly that this format will continue across a range of agencies and different levels, and that the program of work that you see unveiled on Thursday will be a project for our three countries for many years to come.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think I've opined already and shared a bit about the fact that infrastructure investments from the United States and Japan will make a difference in the lives of everyday people. But do want to be clear that beyond those areas, there's a number of areas for cooperation, which we'll be discussing with President Marcos, that also have the ability to deliver for the Philippines people. Those include energy security, which of course is a very important focus for this government. They include digital connectivity to make sure that the people of the Philippines have access to reliable, trusted networks, and a number of other areas, which, if we can more effectively hone our trilateral cooperation, will make the Philippines economy stronger and will affect the everyday lives of the Philippines people. On top of that, of course, what we'll be showing on Thursday is that amidst the tensions with the PRC in the South China Sea, the Philippines people, not just President Marcos, have the support of the United States and Japan. So we think that between these very concrete deliverables, some of which have significant economic implications, and those statements and demonstration of resolve, this is indeed not just about three leaders, but about all their people.